Tony Randall played the endearing and obsessive-compulsive character Felix Under in the legendary television series The Odd Couple, which was based on the epic comedy written by Neil Simon. Felix Under served as a source of comic relief for Jack Klugman's portrayal of Oscar Madison, who was known for his laid-back demeanor. As a result of his outstanding performance, Randall was awarded 2 Emmys in 1975 and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Comedy Awards in 1993. Several organizations, such as the Screen Actors Guild, the Golden Globe and Globe Awards, and the Tony Awards, have put him forward for consideration. At the age of 78, Randall became a parent for the first time, which was the event that brought about the most significant transformation in his life. It had been nothing but laughter and praise up until that point. It is only natural that his choice to become a father at a later age produced a great deal of controversy and prompted many to worry about it. It has been nearly 20 years since he passed away, and his wife, Heather Randall, is finally speaking up about the allegations and rumors that have plagued their family. These facts are discussed in depth in the video, along with what they reveal about Felix Under's accomplice. Within the context of Tony Randall's reality, the individual known as Ari Leonard Rosenberg, who was born on February 26, 1920 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was unable to recognize his own individuality. His mother, Megsha Rosenberg, who was an art and antiques trader, and his mother's wife, Julia Finston, who was a homemaker, provided for his upbringing in a manner that was both humble and stable. Ari, on the other hand, has always been noteworthy due to the fact that he has always had a strong interest in the arts, particularly theater. It was his experience with a traveling ballet company that sparked his interest in the performing arts, and it was this play that ignited an unstoppable fire within him. Despite this, his childhood was not entirely carefree because of his zeal. When Randall was a student at Tulsa Central High School, he had a habit of imitating other people, which led to him getting into a lot of problems. This behavior would later come to define his acting career. As a result of the fact that his instructors considered it to be distracting, Randall frequently found himself in illegal situations. The actions of this individual led to an increase in tensions within the household, particularly with his father, Megsha. As a father who was more realistic in nature, Megsha had a difficult time understanding the creative impulses that his kid possessed. Under the circumstances of their day-to-day life in Tulsa, he had a hard time understanding Ari's goals and objectives. Due to the fact that Megsha was extensively involved in the art and antique sector, he believed that his son's goals were not only unrealistic but also ridiculous. Due to the fact that his relationship with his father was strained, Randall had a difficult time with his childhood. Due to the fact that his father, Megsha, was unable to relate to his creative aspirations, young Ari experienced feelings of confusion and isolation. In spite of the fact that he was facing challenges in his academic pursuits and in his personal life, Randall never wavered in his commitment to pursuing his dream of being an actor. After graduating from high school, he attended Northwestern University and tried his hand at speech and theater, but the stage was more appealing to him. In a very short amount of time, he was on his way to New York City, where he enrolled in the Playhouse School of the Theater, which is located in the city. While Randall was there, he was taught by a number of instructors, including Sanford Meisner and Martha Graham, who helped him perfect his technique. Despite the fact that his early years were marked by adversity and that his connection with his father was challenging, he was able to lay the foundation for a career that would ultimately bring him to great heights in the future. Not only did Tony Randall become a well-known television personality, but he also served in the United States Army for a period of 5 years during World War II. This was an unexpected turn of events. In spite of the fact that it was a world away from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, he was able to develop the self-control and perseverance that would later be beneficial to his success. Following the war, Randall did not immediately begin his career in the entertainment sector. For the purpose of easing his transition back into civilian life, he decided to take a job at Maryland's only theater. His absence from the performing world had lasted for some time, but this marked the beginning of his path back into the industry. He was able to escape the regimentation of military life and discover the joy of performing thanks to the theater, which functioned as a kind of boot camp for him. As soon as Randall was able to rebuild his self-confidence, he uprooted his life and moved to New York City, where he made the decision to pursue acting as a profession. One of his earliest acting assignments was in the radio series I Love a Mystery, which was a hit in the 1940s. He played the character of Reggie in the series. Despite the fact that the role was relatively tiny, it was a significant break for Randall. It was the beginning of an excellent career that would eventually gain him widespread fame once it was all said and done. Taking some time, Randall went from being an unknown actor to becoming a famous actor. Years of laborious effort, a strong enthusiasm for performance, and a little bit of luck were the building blocks that created the basis. The moment Randall arrived in New York, he was quickly immersed in the world of Broadway. He appeared alongside the well-known Katharine Cornell in the 1946 production of The Barretts of Wimpole Street, which he was doing as a traveling actor. This was just the beginning of the process. Between the years 1947 and 1948, he appeared alongside Charlton Heston and Maureen Stapleton in the film Antony and Cleopatra, which was directed by Cornell. Randall's career in the theater industry was gaining momentum while there was little hoopla surrounding it. This is in addition to his performances in the theater. At the beginning of the 1950s, Randall broadened his media contacts to include television. In spite of the fact that he had a modest part in One Man's Family, his breakthrough performance was in the television series Mr. Peepers, which he portrayed from 1952 to 1955. He played the role of Harvey Westcott, a history teacher. Randall's breakthrough performance on television was this one, and it was a demonstration of his acting abilities, notably his ability to bring to life people who are approachable and empathetic. It was around the same period that, in 1954, he took over for Gig Young as the lead in Oh Men, Oh Women, and he continued to make headlines on Broadway after that. The actor made his debut on Broadway in 1955 with the character of cynical newspaperman E.K. Hornbeck, whose attitude was modeled after the real-life writer H.L. Mencken. This role was the catalyst for the actor's breakthrough performance. For his performance in the critically acclaimed play, Randall received a great deal of appreciation from the critics. In 1957, Randall made his debut in the film Oh Men, Oh Women, which catapulted him to the forefront of the Hollywood scene. His success on Broadway ultimately led to him receiving film roles. The year in question saw the publication of Will's critically acclaimed picture Spoil Rock Hunter, in which he shared the screen with Jane Mansfield, as well as other films such as No Down Payment, which showcased his versatility as an actor. Randall played the role that Alec Guinness had previously portrayed in the film Oh Captain, which was a musical comedy that was performed on Broadway in 1958, even though the production was a complete failure at the box office. In spite of this, Randall was able to secure a nomination for a Tony Award for his performance. Throughout the late 1950s, Randall continued to blend his love of theater with his passion for television by appearing as a guest on Playhouse 90 and the United States Steel Hour. At this point in his career, he had already established himself as a household name, and he had firmly established himself in the entertainment sector, where his star is only becoming brighter. Throughout his life, his wife, along with other close friends and members of his family, insisted that he was straight. Despite this, suspicion and intrigue continued to be a part of his personal life, which was marked by high-profile relationships and decisions up until the point where he became a father. His private life was distinguished by two significant marriages. The first one occurred at the beginning of his life, and the second one occurred at the conclusion of his career. His marriage to Florence Gibbs took place in 1938, a significant amount of time before he became famous. Florence, his high school girlfriend, continued to be a constant presence in his life until the year 1992, when she passed away. Their love and respect for one another served as the cornerstones around which their marriage was constructed. Her ability to handle their existence together without bringing attention to herself was made possible by her decision to remain out of the spotlight, while Randall's profession was enjoying significant success. In 1995, Randall tied the knot with Heather Harlan, which marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life. This new chapter began 3 years after Florence, who was 50 years younger than Randall, went away of her illness. The first time they came into contact with one another was while Heather was working as an intern for Randall's organization, the National Actors Theater. Despite the significant age gap that existed between them, their relationship grew, becoming the subject of a significant amount of coverage from the media. Friends and family of the couple, on the other hand, witnessed nothing but genuine affection and devotion between them. In 1997, their daughter Julia Lorette Randall was born, making Randall a father for the first time at the age of 77. This is a very significant chapter in his life because it is one of the most unforgettable moments of his life. It was during a time when many people his age were contemplating retirement that Randall decided to dive headfirst into fatherhood. With the birth of Jefferson Salvini Randall, which occurred a year later at the age of 78, Randall demonstrated once more that he was loyal to his family despite the fact that he was getting on in years. Heather made repeated remarks on Randall's profound interest in their children's activities and his enthusiastic participation in participating in such activities. Heather never stopped defending Randall and Heather's connection, even when questions were asked about the age gap in their second marriage and his late-in-life choice to start a family. This served to underline the mutual regard and affection that the two of them have for one another. She stated that Tony was a loving and compassionate lover who brought joy and security to their family during their time together. The unfortunate truth is that not even the most iconic personalities ever truly live forever. In addition, Tony Randall suffered from a series of serious health issues in the final months of his life, which played a role in his passing away. The crucial medical procedure known as heart bypass surgery was performed on Randall in order to improve the amount of blood that was able to reach his heart. However, there were certain issues that arose when the surgery was being carried out. Shortly after that, Randall was diagnosed with pneumonia, a condition that is frequent in people of advanced age. In spite of the fact that Randall was experiencing major health issues, he remained to have a deep appreciation for the arts. He remained active in the world of theater during our time together. A theater performance of Right You Are, a drama written by Luigi Pirandello, is currently being revived, and he is even starring in the show. Due to the fact that Randall had founded and given assistance to the National Actors Theater in his latter years, this production held additional significance because it was the 20th production that they had produced. This demonstrates how seriously he took his work, as evidenced by the fact that he continued to attend concerts despite the knowledge that his condition was extremely grave. Even after Randall was admitted to the NYU Medical Center in New York City, his condition continued to deteriorate, which is a very unfortunate development. The death of Tony Randall, who was 84 years old at the time of his passing on May 17, 2004, occurred peacefully in his sleep as a result of complications related to pneumonia. He had been working in the profession for more than 60 years when he passed away, leaving behind an indelible mark on the moving image and television industries. The fact that Randall had passed away was a devastating blow to all of those who knew and loved him. Not only did he leave behind a legacy of amazing performances, but he also left an influence on the community of artists by his persistent efforts to promote and safeguard the theater. The extraordinary talent and unwavering commitment to the performing arts that he possesses are on full display throughout his life and career. Following a period of silence that lasted for 20 years, the actor's widow has decided to address the persistent rumors. After Randall's passing in 2004, Heather, who had been married to him and had 2 children, Jefferson and Julia, made the decision to keep her distance from the public eye. Her primary concentration was on the upbringing of her children, although she continued to serve as president of the board for the New York Theater Workshop on a regular basis. It was in interviews such as the one with Marie Claire that Heather frankly commented on the unique joys and difficulties that her marriage has brought her. When Heather did speak out, she did it in interviews. Heather, who was 50 years younger than Randall at the time of their wedding in 1995, was subjected to a great deal of scrutiny. It was common for the general public to depict her as a naive romantic, whereas he was commonly characterized as a naive elderly man. A number of others, including Gary Marshall, Jack Klugman, and Eli Wallach, were close to the couple and had a greater understanding of the situation. Heather maintained a tight relationship with Tony's pals, despite the fact that they would have severed their ties with her if they had ever entertained any suspicions regarding her motivations. The fact that they continued to support each other instead served to validate the legitimacy of her marriage to Tony. The amount of love and respect that existed between Heather and her partner was something that she would underline whenever she discussed their relationship. She chuckled at crude concepts and even imagined how she would react to an interview with Howard Stern. She claimed that their closeness was a normal and pleasurable element of their marriage that lasted until Tony's final days. She also claimed that their marriage lasted until Tony's dying days. According to Heather, Tony was content with his manhood and did not take offense to the sexuality rumors that circulated as a result of the more feminine roles he played in films. His self-assurance in taking on such revolutionary positions was something that she admired because of his fearlessness. During her passionate defense, Heather reflected on the people who had questioned the validity of their marriage and expressed their reservations. She expressed her disapproval of the hypocrisy displayed by their detractors and inquired as to why any woman would not want to be loved by a capable, successful, and educated guy. As a spouse and a father to Heather, Tony was an exceptional individual. During his time with his prior wife, he struggled to conceive a child. Because of this, Heather was thankful that she was able to have children at a later stage in her life. By providing for his family in every way, he ensured that his children would always be cared for and that they would always be protected. And despite the fact that she had been through the heartbreaking experience of losing Tony at a young age, Heather remained steadfast in her beliefs regarding their life together. She went on to claim that she had no reservations and that Tony had a significant impact on her life, as well as the lives of their children. In response to the question of whether or not she would do it all over again, Heather replied a resounding yes. As time went on, Randall established himself as a dependable and multi-talented Hollywood star, and his career on both the big screen and the small screen only continued to grow. His breakout performances in the late 1950s drove him to prominence, and his ability to deftly swing between tragic and humorous roles was among the factors that contributed to his success. Together with Debbie Reynolds, Randall made an appearance in the film Mating Game in 1959. Not only was it a charming romantic comedy, but it also emphasized his acting skills as the main character, who was both a little confused and sympathetic simultaneously. As a supporting actor, he appeared in the critically acclaimed picture Pillow Talk, which was released in the same year, alongside Doris Day and Rock Hudson. As a result of the undeniable chemistry that existed between the three of them, Day and Hudson went on to star in 2 more films. I would appreciate it if you could return my flowers, my sweetheart. The comedic performances that Randall gave in these films solidified his reputation as an actor who was capable of competing with a large number of Hollywood actors. Not only did Randall achieve success in the film industry, but he also in other areas.